Hey everyone, welcome to the Thomas Blooms channel. I am Thomas Blooms, and today, let me tell you the date. It is Saturday, April the 24th, so it's 1 week after my last video. I'm going to do a part 2 on the soil that I used. A couple of you have commented to me privately. You wanted to see the actual mixing of the soil and what it looks like and that kind of thing. So I'm going to show you really quickly how I do it, why, that kind of thing. And it's just going to be a quick video just to show what it's like. And also, what I don't think I mentioned in the last video, which I'm going to mention right now, is that my mix is it's called a triple mix. So it's basically your manure slash compost, your peat moss, and your vermiculite and or perlite. You could also add topsoil to it. So it could be like a quadruple mix if you want. The topsoil, you could add as much as you want to it. Adding more topsoil doesn't affect anything. And plants grow in topsoil all the time, so it's an adequate mix. It's a nice bedding for your veggies. Doesn't add anything, but it doesn't take it away either. And if you're on a budget and you can't afford, or you want to spread this stuff out to cover more ground because you've bought it individually, adding topsoil would be a great benefit to spread it all out. What you don't necessarily want to do is you don't want to add too much of the other three. Like, you don't want to have, for example, like out of 100%, you don't want 50% vermiculite. You don't want 50% necessarily of peat moss, and have the other three or two divided of that 50%. You want to keep it even. So if you're adding topsoil, you can add as much topsoil as you want. That won't change the percentages. But if you're just doing the triple mix, 33% of each. I know it goes to 99, not 100, but whatever. But if you are dividing it up, one shovelful of each, mix it together, should be enough to get you the results you want. So I'm going to show you right now what that's like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a shovelful of each, bring it to the camera here, look at it. It's not going to be anything special about it, but I want you guys to see it. And then I'm going to put it in the bucket, and we're going to do that a couple times. And then what's going to happen is that I'll show you the water and how to mix it, everything else. Okay, so just bear with me, and we'll get to it. Okay. All right, so this is peat moss, okay? And I hope that the camera can pick it up. We're going in between cloudy periods and really sunny periods, so that could affect the lighting. So if it doesn't quite turn out, I apologize. But this is peat moss, and from the last video I told you it's very good at absorbing nutrients and moisture and holding it and doing a slow release. Especially when it's hot, it's good to have this because it does a slow release through the day so that your plants aren't getting dehydrated at the middle of the day while you're at work or whatever. And this peat moss, here, I'll show you like this. It's a brown, and it looks like it actually looks like manure on a farm, fresh manure. It's not, but that's what it looks like. Okay, and usually when you get the bags of peat moss, usually you get like sticks. The die-hard gardeners will actually filter this through a screen to get rid of all the sticks, but you only want to do that really if you're doing little seedlings with the little seedling trays where the sticks can get in the way. Otherwise, you can add it. It's fine. It won't do anything, all right? But I'm just going to put it in the bucket here, and then I'm going to show you the compost. So just give me 1 second here. All right, now here is the compost slash manure. And as you see, the amount that I put on the shovel is approximate to the peat moss and will be approximate to vermiculite. It doesn't have to be exact, okay, but close enough. Now, if you can see here, this is compost manure. This is actually, this is sheep. So this comes from sheep, and it looks like really dark, wet soil. Most of your compost will look like this, okay? But that's really what it is. And so just so you know, this is not fresh compost. This compost has been out for a while, broken down, and then it's used for gardens. Fresh manure does not work, okay? There's too much ammonia gas in there, and there's too much chemicals that haven't broken down yet. So getting aged manure is what you're getting in the stores. Okay, so this is not like fresh from a farm. Okay, it's one of the few things you don't want. It's one of the few things you don't want fresh from a farm. But anyway, so this is your compost, and I'll just add that to the bucket, and then I'll get the vermiculite. 1 second. Okay, now this is your vermiculite. Okay, perlite is basically a similar material. Now, if the camera picks it up, it looks like the tiny little pebbles on a beach, or it looks like stuff you see on a construction site or something like that. And well, sometimes it does get used for commercial/industrial purposes. But as we've explained with vermiculite, I didn't talk about compost, so I'll get back to that in just a second. But with vermiculite, it helps create oxygen within the soil. It absorbs moisture and expands out, and then decreases when the moisture leaves, and it creates pockets of air. And it's very vital for your roots. Your roots love oxygen. Okay, so this is very important for getting oxygen to flow through your root system to make your roots healthier. The more healthier your roots, the better the energy for growth and for fruiting and flowering your veggies and fruits will go. So this helps this in a long way. And I was talking to a new subscriber yesterday, and one of the things that I was communicating and I wanted to put in the video here is that even though I described the three-part mix, vermiculite and perlite, especially in the big box stores, is very, very expensive, okay, compared to what you get compared to peat moss, compost, that kind of thing. A lot of people will get like a really small bag, or won't even get vermiculite or perlite at all, and just go with compost and peat moss. That's fine too. It's a double mix. It works just as well. You would not get as much oxygen to the roots, but that's not a bad thing necessarily, because vermiculite like this does not exist in nature, and they do fine there too. It's just, this is an enhancement, okay? And because of the price, totally understand if you don't get it. But if you want to just get compost/manure and peat moss, you are fine doing that as well. Okay? So just 1 second here. I'm just going to put this in the bucket. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you to my bucket right now. Just hold on a second here. And this is what it looks like in the bucket. Okay, so it's pretty much, you got your manure here, your peat moss there, and your vermiculite there. So what I like to do at this point is, excuse me, as I get my hose, I'm going to, let me see if I get the angle right. I'm just going to soak this, okay? I'm going to soak this right now, and what that does is it gets everything nice and moist. And I start to stir it. Okay, the reason why I stir it is because I want to get a good mix going. If you just put it in the bucket and then dump it onto your garden bed, you won't get the effects. You need to mix it. Okay, so just bear with me while I go get my stuff, and I'll show you how the mixing is done. It's really simple. 1 second. Okay, so here we are, and here's the bucket, and I got a little thing here. And I'm just gonna, just mix it around. Okay, just get it nice and worked in, and it all starts turning into like a similar color. And oops, sorry, my camera work is really bad as I stir. I apologize, but this is kind of what it looks like. And you want to bring the stuff up from this top. Oh, it needs a little bit more moisture. 1 second here. Okay. The reason why is that you want to get this really mixed in. You want to get all the dry parts wet. And it also lets you know that when you're putting this into a bucket to mix together, it condenses and gets smaller. And it lets you pour more in, but it does get heavy. So if you have back problems or you're not that strong, you might want to go half first. Fill half the bucket. So it starts looking like this. I don't know if, let's see, bring close the camera. I don't know if you can see it like this. So you can see elements of the peat, the manure, and the vermiculite inside. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a tiny bit more of compost manure into this, because you can't go wrong putting more compost in it, because like I said in the last video, your compost manure is basically nutrients, energy for your plants. They love compost. They love that stuff. So if you could start your own compost bin instead of doing the green bin method, you're good to go with that as well. But we'll talk about that in another video. Okay, but basically this is how it looks. Okay, I'll show you it again. So it's, believe it or not, even though it's wet, it's very airy. Okay, and I could just take a nice handful like this. And one of the things I want to talk to you about, while I'm having this in my hand, when you're doing your seed trays or growing seedlings inside, and you want to know if your soil is too moist or not, one of the tricks you could do is you make a ball like this, and I can't make it as well because you need two hands, and unfortunately I don't have that right now. But when you squeeze this ball of soil, not too hard, but give it a first squeeze, if water comes out the way it comes out of sponge, too much. If you could squeeze this, feel the moisture, but not have anything come out, you've watered it just right. And that is a sort of a golden thumb or golden rule when you're adding wet soil to your seed trays, so that you could get proper germination. Okay, so this is pretty much it. This is pretty much what I wanted to show you guys, what each one looked like and how you mix it. And basically this is ready to go in my garden. Okay, so thank you very much for tuning into that. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe. This is Thomas Bloom signing off.